Welcome back. It is Monday, 4:36 p.m. This video is going to come out tomorrow, Tuesday, because I already put a video out today, so I'm just not dumping a ton of crap on you guys. Another desk video, feeling motivated. Getting ready to start editing. Large cup of coffee. Editing our little adventure yesterday, and do a little bit different. I'm going to put in some snippets of flying mixed in with our little adventure yesterday. So that should be some super fun awesomeness, but that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is I want you to re-meet Doom. Reintroducing Doom. I've had Doom over a year and a half-ish. It was my first toothpick build, and there are no complaints. Absolutely no complaints. It was an absolute rocket ship. It is only 1S. I was talking about how awesome these batteries were. And as I was trying to cycle and fly some of them, four out of the handful said they would charge. They showed that they had juice. And then when I plugged it into the quad, soon as everything set and it showed the OSD, it showed 0.00 voltage. Nothing. So I cut the connectors off and touched them a bunch of times until lots of happy things happened. And then they're going away. Anyway, so I still have a couple left. 4 or 5, but they do run on 1S, and the flight times so far have been good. Jump ahead of myself. Again, it was a toothpick on, I think it was the same size frame, so it was about 85 millimeters, 85 to 100. Nah, it had to be the same. I take that back, because motor wire stuff didn't have to change. It's funny, I made a couple videos yesterday. I did like a morning video talking about what was going to go on with this, and then I made some clips of making it. And then I was not happy, frustrated, because I should have done it differently and then erased them all. So there is no build video on this, unfortunately. I had to change a couple things, which wasn't the end of the world. And obviously, you can see that I had some fun with the frame. I went with the gray on purpose to kind of... So its name is Doom, one of my favorite games, and I'm playing Doom Eternal at the moment. So it's like a montage to that with the canopy. There's an actual Doom canopy that I have, but it's too big and weight and stuff like that. So I farted around with this a little bit. What makes this different for this setup, instead of just the little standoffs that these frames have, I was going to show you, but I can't show you. So I actually punched out, I used my famous poker tool thingy and opened these up. And like I said, I took the standoff that was on the inside out and ran these posts up, and I had to do that to be able to mount the canopy and do everything in the manner that it was set up before. Probably could get away with doing it the traditional way with the isolators and then the flight controller, but I wanted to give enough room because it's got a full-size, it's a small but full-size receiver inside the Happy Model Specky, which it's hard to see thankfully now with my setup, kind of added to it. So I had the receiver, I don't know if you can see it. Nope, you can't see it at all. That works cool. So I ran it out the sides because it's got diversity, and put a little notch, drop of glue, and then added some of the fun paint that I have all over it to look like it's blood, that it slayed a bunch of demons. Flies phenomenal. I'm very impressed. It went from like the traditional toothpick, which had 3-inch blades, and again, doing some testing and stuff, I cut up a 4-blade to a 2-blade to see how it flew, and it flew good. It's got to be tweaked a little bit now, and my throttle curve, because it did shrink a little bit, so you'd lose a little bit. You know, coming, like I was doing power loops, and I was at the back of the battery, but coming back down out of it, I didn't have enough, so I bumped the ground a couple times. But other than that, I just have to adjust to the change with the props and stuff like that. I'm going to do like an official flight time, because I was too busy and I was half charging batteries to see if they'd even work and all that fun stuff like I'm doing right now. Battery bay is meant for like a 2S, like 450 beta style battery. These fit in it. There's a little bit of room up and down, but it doesn't slide around. And I may just put a piece of foam on one end. We'll see. And all these batteries are obviously running on XT30. I cut the connectors off and did these, which seems to work really well. It originally had bigger standoffs in between, which raised the frame up, and I kind of, with the OCD that I wonderfully suffer from, changed it. Went to just a extra rubber isolator, and then all this stuff back together, and it lowered it down on the canopy a little bit, and it works great. Other than that, I think it's a Z's board, the Happy Model Spec E receiver, and I had an iFlight kick-ass antenna on here, but the reception sucked ass. Like, to the point of I was barely behind anything. Like, I'd go behind the picnic table and it was blacking out, which was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I swapped out and put this little whip antenna on there, and it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So Fox here makes these little super dinky lollipops that I have on my Sin 8. I'm going to probably pick one up because those are a lot lighter than the other one. But this will work for now, and this will hold up for smashing, banging into things, shooting lower gaps than I should. These hold up, and I got a bunch of these. And again, I'm not flying this super far away. It's a yard ripper, bando ripper, and all that stuff. So there'll be some experimenting with some different stuff. These are the first time I remember using. These are beta FPV. I'm sure Gemfan or something like that. They're mixed. They're not beta made, but beta branded. Buy props. These are like the smoke color. I also have the blue. The blue will not look good with this setup, but if I need them, they'll be there. So I'm going to do some testing and some flight time stuff with it, but I dig it. It's super, super light. Flying it, that threw me. This is my first 85 millimeter whoop. That's kind of what I'm going to title it. The Sin 8 is an 85, and I didn't even realize that until I was testing props and screwing around with that. Completely overlooked that was a 85 millimeter, but I don't fly that fast. It's more of a Cinewhoop, but whoop, and there's not much difference, just thickness of the guards. But flying this, the way that the tune was for the toothpick worked phenomenal on this. When you lock in, if you haven't flown a lot, it's hard to explain. But when you just kind of go into it and it just locks like it's on rails, and then you just give it your input and it's just locked. That's how this thing flies. It is absolutely amazing. So like course running or ripping through the yard, it was just dialed right in. The only thing I'm going to tweak in the PIDs, it's not even a PID setting, is the idle air. So a lot of whoops will suffer from a little bit of yaw wash. If you come down into the dirty air or come down off like a power loop or something like that, it may not have enough, because especially when you completely drop throttle and maneuver, you'll get a little bit of that wave or it'll catch itself. Upping the idle air in beta flight or speedy B, and what that means is when you arm the motors right from the beginning, these will spin a little bit faster. So when you're in a trick and you throttle down all the way, these will be spinning just a touch faster too, and it's adjustable to what you want. And that right there will help it from washing out. If you go too far, it'll make it a little too floaty, so in a maneuver it'll have more lift than you want, but that might fit your flight style. So that's all on you. It's up to you. But this is Doom. Doom is awesome. I can't wait to rip it. I wish I had this when I did the bando the last weekend or whatever the hell it was, because this has a lot more oomph than the traditional brushed, and this can handle the wind. I was ripping it in the wind yesterday, and it didn't phase it at all. It was 10, 15 mile an hour wind, and I was just going along. Didn't even really notice. So stay tuned. You're going to see a lot more. I know it's not HD, it's not cinematic, but you know, flying through the trees and doing like that bando thing is definitely a passion and fun. And I'm going to do it some more. So stay tuned. You can see a lot more from Doom, and I've got to come up with like catchy title names involving Doom and all that stuff. So we'll see. But thanks for tuning in as you're watching it. Happy Tuesday, whatever time this comes out, and share your thoughts as always. Any questions on it, recommendations, if there are any other frames I can get as backup other than the beta. I think Happy Model makes one, but I kind of dig in that I can paint this, and if it gets scraped up, no big deal. I can just get back in there and repaint it. And it goes with the PlayStation, which is funny. My wife pointed that out. So it blends in a little bit, the whole Halloween and the Doom thing. But anyway, I'm rambling. Coffee, editing, gotta go. Peace out.